Welcome to ProgrammingKT. I am explaining about the concept is iteration statements in Java. So in last video, I already explained about for loop. I mean syntax about for loop, example, how internally for loop will work, and moreover the tracing part and some important points you need to remember about for loop. Moreover that break keyword and continue. I mean how it will work, how we can use inside for loop. I explained. So in this video, I am trying to explain about remaining two iteration statements like while and do while. Let me start with first while. So here I am trying to explain about while loop. So second one is while. So when to use while loop, you need to remember. I mean, what is the difference between for loop and while loop? So for loop is recommended. So if you know how many times if you want to iterate, I mean that size of iteration count. I mean if I can say n, this number if you know. I mean at the starting itself. I mean when you are trying to iterate. I mean when you are trying to declare any loop. So if you know the size, I mean that any input source size, then you can go for loop. So if you don't know about that size, I mean how many times. I mean I can say count how many times you need to iterate. If you don't know, then only you can go for while loop. So if you already know the iteration count, go for loop. If you don't know, go for while loop. So this is the difference you need to remember between for loop and while loop. Now let me try to write syntax about while loop. Then I will write example. So syntax. So syntax about while loop is very easy. Like so, first we need to use while keyword while, and here we need to pass always boolean expression. I mean boolean value. Boolean and open curly brace, closed curly brace. Inside this we can write, I mean while body. So if the condition is true, it will body will be executed until unless this condition becomes false. So this is about, I mean syntax about while loop. Now let me try to write example about while loop. So I'm trying to write example for while loop, finding the armstrong number. So what is the armstrong number? You know, I mean if you don't know, I will explain. So armstrong number is, so sum of cube of each digit is equal to that number. So we can say that is the armstrong number. So example armstrong number is 153. So 153 is a Armstrong number. So I will explain how. So 1 cube, sum of cube of each digit is equal to that number. So first digit is 1 cube, I mean 1 cube. Second digit is 5 cube. Third digit is 3 cube. So total result will be 1 plus 125 plus 27. So the result is, if we can observe here, 126 plus 27. So we got the result, I mean 153. So this is the input number, output also, I mean same number. So this is the Armstrong number. So to find this Armstrong number, I am trying to use while loop. How I can find the Armstrong number? So imagine first I am trying to declare two variables. When first one is n equal to 153, I am trying to initialize it, and second one is some, I mean as a variable with zero value. Now I am trying to, I mean, write pseudocode about, I mean, for finding Armstrong number by using while loop. Why? Because I don't know how many times I want to iterate. I will explain with this pseudocode. While I will iterate until unless that n value becomes to zero. Until unless that n value becomes to zero. I mean, this input number. Until unless I want this n value becomes zero, I am trying to iterate. How many times? I don't know. That's why I am trying to prefer while loop instead of for loop. So inside this while loop, I am trying to, I mean, apply modulus operator first for that given input number called n. N modulus with 10. So modulus operator, how it will work? It will always return reminder, right? So if you did not watch my operators concept, watch that video, then only you will get some clarity on modulus operator and division operator. These two operators are the most important operators. So in second statement, I am trying to apply. So previously I declared some, right? So I am trying to apply the logic like The rule will be finding Armstrong number, sum of cube of each digit number. So I am getting remainder R. So with this only I will get the Armstrong number logic. So R into R. I mean this remainder. So again the result I am trying to store into variable S only. So one more time I am trying to apply division operator with N. So again that result I am trying to store into a variable called again N only. So this is the syntax about, pseudocode about to find Armstrong number. So how it will work? Division operator, it will return always quotient, right? It will return always remainder, modulus operator. These two concept you need to remember before writing this problem. So this is the usage about while loop. So I don't know how many times it will take to become n is equal to 0. That's why I'm using n, while loop. Now let me try to trace out how while loop will be executed internally, and moreover that how we can find Armstrong number by using while loop. So in iteration, I can say first iteration. So n value is 153, sum is equal to 0 in first iteration. Now let me trace out about this while loop. So n is, n greater than, 153 greater than 0, true, right? So true, jump into inside while loop. So what is the logic inside this while loop? N divides by, n modulus 10. What is the remainder we will get? Remainder will be 3, right? 10 ones 10, 10 fives 50. So remainder will be 3. So that remainder is stored inside R variable. So if I can apply, R is 153 by, modulus 10. 10 ones 10 fives, remainder is 3. So R value is 3. So some value previously, here it is in first iteration 0, right? 0 plus, R value is 3, right? Here R value is 3. 3, 3, 3. 3 times cube. So that result I am trying to store inside variable called S only. So finally 0 plus 3 threes 9, 9 threes 27. 27 I am trying to store into variable called S. And moreover that, what is the, quotient? Once I divide that n with 10, so quotient is 15, right? Here I already calculated. So n value is 15. So this is first iteration. Once first iteration is done, let me trace out for second iteration. Second iteration. So now n value is how much? Here it is 15, right? Previously 153, now 15. And some value is 27. Now this is in second iteration. Again check the condition. So 15 greater than 0, true, right? 15 greater than 0, true. Again apply the, find the remainder. So 15 modulus 10. What is the remainder? 10 once, remainder will be 5. So in that case, now let me try to trace out second part, second line statement. So some value previously 27 plus cube of remainder, 5, 5, 5. Now 27 plus 5 5s 25, 25 5s 125. So the result will be 27 plus 1, 125, it will be 152. Now that result I am trying to store a variable again S only. So finally, last statement, quotient. What is the quotient here? 10 once 10, remainder is 5, quotient is 1. Now n value is 1. This is the second iteration. Now trace out for third iteration. So third third iteration. So in third iteration, what is the n value? N value is 1 and S value is 152. Continue the same process. N value is 1, right? 1 greater than 0, true. Enter inside while loop. Here you need to remember one point. If you did not watch that operators concept, I already explained about that concept. Like, if we can apply 1 modulus with 10, you will get always remainder as a 1 and quotient is 0. So in that case remainder is 1. So 1 plus, I mean previously some value is 150, right? 152 plus cube of 1 cube, I mean 1 cube, I mean 3 times of remainder, right? One time, I mean 1 into 1 into 1. Now 152 plus 1, finally we got the result. I mean this value I'm trying to store into a variable called s only, right? So s only, s. So 152 plus 1, 153, we reach the target. Now here quotient is 0, right? Why? Because when you are applying, if the dividend is bigger than divider, I mean above value, in that case division operator always returns 0, modulus operator always returns dividend. So this rule I already explained at the time of explaining operators concept. In that case, so if I can apply 1 division 10, the result will be 0. So that's why n value is 0. Now if we can apply in third iteration, the while loop will be break. Why? Because in fourth iteration, while loop will be, I mean break. Fourth iteration, n value is 0, s value is 153. We reached the target, and moreover that 0 greater than 0, false. Here while loop will be break. This is the explanation about while loop to find the Armstrong number. So I hope you got full clarity how what is the Armstrong number, how we can implement by using while loop. Next one is I am trying to explain about do while. Let me try to explain about do while. So third iteration statement is do while. So do while also almost similar to while loop, but there is a small difference. Means do while loop will be executed at least once, even though the condition is false. But do while loop will be executed at least once. Let me try to write the syntax about, do while loop. So we need to use do keyword, then open curly brace, closed curly brace. Then you can add, at the end you can use while keyword and along with boolean condition. So inside this we need to use always boolean expression again. So otherwise it will get compilation error if we can pass other than boolean. So this is the, do while body. So do while body. So this body will be executed at least once, even though here the condition is false. So but it will be executed at least once. So this is the, behavior of do while loop. Now let me try to write example about do while loop. This is the syntax, and I'm trying to write about example. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to do sop statement, sop of hello do while, some message, whatever it may be, you can write your on your own. So then I'm trying to write, while I'm trying to pass false. So even though the condition is false, but the statement will be printed. SOP of, this SOP statement will be printed. Not only SOP statement, any business logic, any number of lines, you can write inside that. Do body, do while body. It will be executed. Then condition will be checked. At least one time it will be executed. So I will explain in detail about when I am writing the code about do while. So this is the syntax. I think only if at least once it will be executed, even the condition is false. Just a straightforward only. Other than while loop. While loop is at least you need. You need to pass. If the value is true, then only it will execute. It won't execute if the value is false. Expression is false. But do while is it will execute at least one time, even though the value is false. That is the difference. That's enough. So with this, iteration statements I completed. Let me show you that. From starting to, beginning all three. So first one is iteration statements. Inside that iteration statement, I have three. So first one is for loop. how for loop syntax example tracing part. When to is for loop, if you know the how many times if you want to iterate, in that case go for loop. If you don't know how many times if you want to iterate, then go for while loop. So if you want to execute at least one time even though the condition is false, then go for do while loop. Now let me try to explain while loop and do while loop with some examples. So here I already created one file called iteration statements. Previously I explained with for loop. So now I am trying to explain while loop and do while loop. So while loop. So inside this, first I am trying to explain, how to, syntax about while loop. Anyway, I already write, right? I think not required. So let me try to implement the, Armstrong number logic. So int n equal to 153 and int sum is equal to 0. So this is the two input variables, two values we need to declare before writing while loop. So while loop, it is already picking, ID is, Visual Studio Code already picking that syntax. Here we need to pass the condition. What is the condition? Our target will be until unless that n value becomes 0, we want to iterate. How many times we don't know. So until unless that n value becomes 0, we need to iterate it. So at the time of iterating, I am trying to find the, I am trying to apply modulus operator with n with 10. So reminder, I am trying to store into a variable called r. Next line will be, so I am trying to store, I am trying to first apply sum of previous value plus cube of reminder. So r, 3 times of r. So result I'm trying to store inside a, variable. So what is, whatever variable I declared here, line number 10. Now third statement will be inside that while loop. So I'm trying to apply n with division operator. So a division operator always returns quotient. That quotient I'm trying to store into a variable again n only. So this is the logic for finding given number is Armstrong or not. So before this, so if the value becomes 0, I don't know. The value is overridden, right? Before that, I want to store the value n into a temporary variable. Let us say int ARM number, some variable I'm trying to use it. Inside that variable, I'm trying to store. Why? Because I need to compare, right? Given input number is equal to our target number. Our target number will be there here. So before that, the number will be, changed. We can't, compare, right? That's why I'm trying to store into a temporary variable. Now I'm trying to print it if, some variable is equal to previously stored n value into a temporary number, right? Temporary variable s out of Armstrong number. Otherwise, I can say here, this is the variable, right? This is the variable is Armstrong number, else not. So we need to align properly. If it is only one statement, then curly braces are always optional. So this point also I already explained in previous videos. So is not Armstrong number. Now let me try to execute it. So inside I need to move first inside iteration statements, not introduction. Iteration statements, inside that I have file name called iteration statements. So 153 is the Armstrong number. Now let me try to give some random number 127. So 127 is a not Armstrong number. So this is the, internal execution of, how to find Armstrong number with while loop. So it will iterate until unless this, while loop will be iterated until unless n value becomes 0. So this is the usage about while loop. So now let me try to write example for do while loop. So this is about while loop. Now I am trying to explain. I mean writing example about do while loop. Do while. So do while I already explained, right? The syntax will be do open curly brace, closed curly brace, while we need to specify the condition. Wantedly I am trying to provide value as a false. Now let me try to, I mean inside this do I am trying to write one else out statement. Do while body. So if it is true, I mean, even though I'm trying to false, I mean, a behavior of do while loop I'm trying to explain. So it will execute, it will print the do while body message, even though the while value is false. Now let me try to execute that code. Java relation statement dot Java. So previous value is, I mean, while loop example, and now it is printing do while body. So even though the value is false. So this is the not only SOP statement, you can play on your own. I mean, different examples. I am trying to explain about syntax and how do while and while. I mean, behavior of these loops I explained. Then you can implement on your own different examples. And moreover, that one point, I mean, I need to explain about while and do while in for loop I already explained about continue and break statements, right? So here also I will explain, I mean that break and continue. Now let me try to write one more example here. So start with do while only. So I mean instead of do while I will again start with while only. So while, so condition is here I am trying to declare one variable. So previously n and so the variable name is int I equal to 0, I equal to 0, and here I am trying to provide the condition I less than or equal to 10. Moreover that I am trying to print that I value. So at the time of printing I value equal to 5, I am trying to break it. Break. Now we are expected result will be anyway 0 also no problem, 0 to 4. Why? Because at the time of 5 I am trying to break it. So moreover that we need to increment the part, right? So otherwise it will went to infinite loop. Why? Because 0 less than or equal to 10 always true. It will keep on increasing. So that's why you need to handle, I mean we need to increment I value. Then only I value will be increased. It will reach the target 10, 10 less than or equal to 10 true. Next time 11 less than or equal to 10. In that case, it will fail. Now let me try to execute one more time. We got the result from expected result 0 to 4. 0 to 4. So this is about break statement and continue statement. One point we need to remember inside while loop. So in for loop, if you are using continue statement inside for loop, if you are using, if will continue statement, I mean continue keyword is encountered, it will always, I mean always jump into increment part. But in while loop, this is the default behavior. Means if while loop encounter continue statement, we always jump into here. I mean boolean expression, not into I value. In that case, it will always, I mean went into, I mean infinite loop. Instead of printing SOP statement here, now we can move this here, then we can observe the behavior of continue inside while loop. This is the one important point you need to remember. So now if I can enter this, it will went to infinite loop. See here, it is going to infinite. I mean, when continuously it is increasing same value. I am wantedly I am trying to stop it. So see here how many number of lines. If we can, I can scroll here. See, so this is the infinite loop. So this is the some different behavior you need to observe other than for loop. So why if the value mean continue encounter in while loop, it will immediately jump into expression, not increment or decrement part. So if the increment part is below that continue, in that case, how we can handle? Need to handle that increment part after, I mean this one as well. After, I think not after. Before only we need to handle. Oh, let me try to export. So we got the result, and the value of 5 is, I think it is continue. I mean, anyway, I wrote statement here, right? That's why it is printing. Now let me try to move here. Now let me try to export. So here I got the result, exact result. I mean, the value 5 will be skipped. If you can observe here, 0 to 10, there is no 5. That's why, I mean, continue is worked here. So we need to handle this increment part, I mean, before continue. So if I can remove this continue part, it will always move to Boolean expression. It will went to infinite loop. So same rule is applicable for do while also. So this is the one point, break and continue. Anyway, break is it will break the loop, but continue we need to, handle with care. I mean, otherwise it will went to infinite loop. So I hope you got some clarity on iteration statements, while loop, I mean for loop, while loop, do while loop. So if you like the content, hit on like button, subscribe Programming KT. Thanks for watching.